Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Nick O'Leary, and today we're looking at Mercedes Me, but more specifically, some things you can buy on Mercedes Me called these kind of Mercedes Me packages. Now, I have covered Mercedes Me previously in another video, which I'll link up above and also in the description down below. Basically, Mercedes Me, in a nutshell, runs things like your live traffic information on some models, map updates, and also there's use of the Mercedes Me app as well. So check that video out if you wanted to know more about that, but we're going to run through the Mercedes Me packages you can purchase from the Mercedes Me store today for your Mercedes. So before we look at any paid services on Mercedes Me, there are a couple of free ones that stay kind of with the life of the car. These include things like remote vehicle diagnostics and tele-diagnostics. These can actually notify your selected Mercedes-Benz retailer in the app of any work that might need doing to the car. Say for example, if it's due a service or, I don't know, maybe the brakes needed replacing or something, it can actually notify them and then they can get in contact with you and get you booked in as quickly as possible. The SOS button and Mercedes Me button also play a huge part of these free Mercedes Me services. So the SOS button, of course, for life or death situations on the road, or emergencies or accidents and that sort of thing. But then the Me button is for roadside assistance, just in case, I don't know, say you had a puncture, for example, and needed some assistance at the side of the road. There are other services as well, so just make sure the Hey Mercedes voice assistant, which is this one here, make sure that's switched on because it does make it just a little bit more intelligent. But now on to the paid Mercedes Me services. Now, some Mercedes Me services are chargeable, the ones you kind of actually have to pay for. But with some models, they are free of charge for a set time. Now again, of course, I'd imagine this does vary around the world, and certainly it does vary from model to model in the UK, but double check with your local Mercedes if you're not sure. But for the vast majority of Mercedes-Benz in the UK, you do get some Mercedes Me services free for a set time, sometimes a year or even up to 3 years. But again, double check if you're not sure. These can be things like the remote package for the Mercedes Me app, navigation package, and even things you can buy to enhance your Mercedes-Benz experience in the car, like smartphone integration or even dash cam. So one of the first ones that people come across is a thing called the navigation package. This quite simply is live traffic information for your multimedia system, for your sat-nav, and on some selected models as well, if you go onto your Mercedes Me app and on the Mercedes Me store, you might see the wording online map update. For the vast majority of them, if you have NTG 5.5 commands like this one, or even MBUX like this one with the Hey Mercedes voice assistant, these can do map updates over the air. So if you have this navigation package service, you get live traffic and map updates all included in that one package. There are other things as well called car-to-X communication, which actually, although it sounds very complicated, is basically just a more advanced and live traffic. Say for example, if someone was driving down the road and there was someone broken down at the side of the road and causing a bit of a hazard, you can actually report that from the car and let other road users know that there is something there, and it will pop up on their sat-nav in real time, which is actually quite clever. Now, next up is the remote package. Now, the remote package is essentially the Mercedes Me app. So if you want to make use of this app, this is the Mercedes Me service you'll need. This remote package service kind of incorporates the unlock and lock feature you find on Mercedes Me to looking at your tyre pressures and even things like statistical information like your tyres or trip information. And you can even customize a few settings on some cars too. Some models of Mercedes can also notify you if the alarm is tripped as well. So for example, if someone hit the car in your absence, it can give you the time and date that it happened. There is also a Mercedes Me service called the Vehicle Tracker, which can show you the car's location in real time. Now, it's not officially classed as a tracker just because it uses GPS only, but it can be quite useful to locate the car if you've parked it in a very, very large car park, for example. The next package is a thing called Mercedes Me Charge. Now, I have made a dedicated video on this particular service as it is a video in itself. So I'm going to link that up above just in case you want to check that out. It is primarily for plug-in hybrids and all-electric vehicles. So if you don't have one of those, then you won't see this. Basically, Mercedes Me Charge is a Mercedes Me service that incorporates a large public charging infrastructure and makes it a bit easier to charge in public. But I do have a video dedicated to that. But again, it is another Mercedes Me service that you can purchase, which you can find on the Mercedes Me store. While I'm on that topic, there is another package called the Charging Package Premium. This also incorporates Mercedes Me Charge, but also discounted charging at a charge point called Ionity. Now, Ionity are actually building lots of charge points in the UK right now, but the reason why they're quite popular with Mercedes is because they actually offer extremely fast charging speeds that can charge electric cars in sometimes 30 minutes to 45 minutes, but again, of course, it does vary. Basically, this Charging Package Premium offers Mercedes Me Charge and discounted charging at these particular charge points on Ionity. So that's definitely the package to go for if you make use of those. Another Mercedes Me service is a thing called the In-Car Office. Now, I have covered this in another dedicated video, so I'll link that up above if you wanted to know more about that. But basically, In-Car Office can sync your Google Calendar, Exchange and Gmail calendars to your Mercedes-Benz. Basically, this synchronizes all of your appointments. So, for example, if you were traveling around to lots of different people's houses, visiting them there or different addresses, you can have these all lined up in your calendar, and then in the car it's presented that to you and actually loads it into the sat-nav. So it's actually quite clever if you, I don't know, visit lots of people and kind of run your day on a very, very strict timekeeping calendar. Now, next up is a thing called the Urban Guard package, which also incorporates a thing called Stolen Vehicle Help. Now, this essentially is a Mercedes Me service that I hope no one will ever need to use, but is only to be used in the event of a car theft, you know, if it's stolen or something. Now, of course, this has to be purchased in advance of said event happening, so you can't purchase this after, it has to be purchased before. But if you ever did have to use it, quite simply, what you'd need to do is ring the police and get a crime reference number and, of course, report that event. And then go to the Mercedes Me app and report it as stolen and input your crime reference number. Once this has been done, the Mercedes Me contact centre will then relay the car's location information to the police directly, and they can start searching for it straight away without a kind of search warrant or anything like that. So it can speed up the process of getting your car back. Just remember though that this service can be used 10 days after purchase. So I said you can't purchase this after that event's happened, you have to purchase it in advance. So if you wanted extra protection on the car, I'd recommend purchasing it, and then you know you've got peace of mind that you've kind of got this extra level of protection. But of course, that is just one example. You can get an actual tracker fitted to your Mercedes-Benz, made by a company called Tracker, which I'll link down below just in case you want to check them out. So with all that in mind, how much do these Mercedes Me services cost? What's the price of them? Well, there's actually two ways of finding out. Number one, go to the Mercedes Me store on the website or the Mercedes Me app, and you can see the tailored prices for your exact car. Or alternatively, just get in touch with your local Mercedes-Benz and they could advise you over the phone or in person. But just remember, as these are Mercedes Me services, your Mercedes-Benz retailer can't take payment for them in person or over the phone. They have to be purchased online, as they are online services. But yes guys, there we go. That concludes this week's video on the Mercedes Me packages for your Mercedes-Benz. So let me know what you guys think down below. If you have any suggestions or questions and that sort of thing, use that comment section. And as always, hit that like button and that subscribe button, as it really does help the channel out. As always, a huge shout out to Sandown Mercedes-Benz, as they help provide access to all these awesome cars you see in the videos. It'd be very tricky to make it without them. So huge, huge shout out to them. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Until next week, see you then.